Chapter 1. Carter. The sun is barely cresting the Bitterroot Mountains when I find the heifer down in the east pasture, sides heaving like she's been running for her life. She hasn't been. She's been standing here dying while I was doing the morning feed, and that knowledge sits in my gut like a stone. The grass is wet with dew, soaking through my jeans as I kneel beside her. She's one of our best Angus, Black Betty, Wyatt named her, and she's thrown 3 strong calves in as many years. Her coat's usually glossy as oil, but right now it's dull and matted with sweat and dirt. Her breathing comes in shallow gasps that make my chest tight with worry. "Easy, girl," I murmur, running my hand along her neck. Her skin's hot to the touch, fever burning through her like wildfire. "Easy now." "Carter." Boone's voice carries across the field, high and tight with panic. I don't look up from the heifer, just keep my hand on her, trying to offer whatever comfort I can. My youngest brother comes jogging up, all 22 years of him looking about 16 right now. His hat's askew, shirt untucked, and there's guilt written all over his face. "I swear I closed that gate last night," he says, breathless. "I swear I did, Carter. I checked it twice." "Boone?" I keep my voice level, though frustration simmers under the surface. "This isn't about the gate." "But if I'd..." "She's sick. Gate's got nothing to do with it." I finally look at him, see the worry in his eyes that mirrors my own. He's a pain in my ass half the time, but he loves this ranch the same as I do. "Call Doc Hendricks. Tell him we need him out here now." Boone's face falls. "Doc Hendricks retired last month. Moved to Arizona, remember? Something about his arthritis and the cold winters." The news hits me like a gut punch, even though I vaguely remember hearing something about it. Doc Hendricks delivered me 34 years ago, and has been tending our livestock since before I could walk. He knew our land and every animal on this ranch by name. He knew us. Then who the hell is covering his practice? I ask, hearing the edge in my own voice. Some new guy took over. Young, I guess. City vet. Boone's already pulling out his phone. Office said they'd send him right out. Perfect. Just what I need on a Monday morning, when we've got 50 head to move by noon, a fence that won't fix itself, and now a city vet who probably thinks cattle are something you order medium rare at a steakhouse. I turn back to the heifer, checking her gums, pale too pale, and feeling the rigid tension in her belly. Could be bloat. Could be pneumonia. Could be a dozen different things, and every minute we wait is a minute closer to losing her. "How long?" I call to Boone. He said 20 minutes. I settle into the grass beside Betty, one hand on her side, feeling each labored breath. The morning stretches out around us, Montana sky going from purple to pink to that endless blue that tourists take pictures of and locals take for granted. Somewhere across the pasture, I can hear the rest of the herd lowing, unaware that one of their own is fighting for her life. Boone paces, nervous energy radiating off him. "Think she'll make it?" "I don't know," I say honestly. "But we're sure as hell gonna try." 20 minutes turns into 25, and I'm about ready to call the office myself when I hear the sound of an engine. A pickup I don't recognize comes bouncing down the ranch road, kicking up enough dust to announce itself from a quarter-mile out. It's a newer model Ford, silver with barely a scratch on it, too clean for ranch work, the paint still shining like it just rolled off the lot. The truck pulls up beside us, engine cutting off with a smooth purr that our ancient Chevy hasn't made in years. The door swings open, and out steps someone who makes my brain stutter and forget whatever I was about to say. He's tall, nearly my height, which puts him over 6 feet, with dark hair that's just messy enough to look intentional, like he ran his fingers through it and called it good. His face is all clean lines and sharp angles, the kind of handsome that makes you look twice. Strong jaw with just a hint of stubble, straight nose, and when he turns toward us, I catch sight of his eyes even from a distance. The jeans fit him like they were tailored, dark denim hugging long legs as he moves, and he's wearing a plain gray Henley that clings to broad shoulders and a trim waist. When he bends to grab his vet bag from the passenger seat, I catch myself staring at the curve of his ass before I snap my eyes away, heat crawling up the back of my neck. "Get it together, Branch." "Morning," he says, and his voice is smooth, warm, carrying easily across the space between us. He flashes a smile that's entirely too bright for Dawn, all white teeth and genuine friendliness. "Dr. Liam Newton. You must be Carter Branch." He crosses the distance with confident strides, boots, actual work boots I notice, worn in and dusty, eating up the ground. Up close he's even more attractive, which seems impossibly unfair. There's an energy to him, something vibrant and alive that makes this particular early morning feel less bleak. His hand extends toward me, and I take it because my mama, rest her soul, raised me with manners. His grip is firm and warm, his palm softer than mine, but not by much. There are calluses there, rough patches at the base of his fingers that speak to actual work. Not gonna lie, that surprises me. "That's me," I say, pulling back faster than I probably should. I can still feel the impression of his fingers against mine. "Heifer's over here. Been down for a while." "What have we got?" Liam asks, already moving toward Betty, his expression shifting from friendly to professional in a heartbeat. "Don't know yet. Found her like this during morning feed. She's running a fever, and her breathing shallow. Could be respiratory, could be digestive." Liam doesn't waste time with small talk, just drops into a crouch beside the heifer with easy grace, his movements calm and sure as he starts his examination. He sets his bag down, organized and efficient, pulling out a stethoscope first thing. "Hey there, beautiful," he murmurs to Betty, and his voice has gone soft, gentle. "Let's see what's going on with you." He runs his hands over her with the kind of careful attention that tells me he knows what he's doing, checking her over systematically. His fingers probe her abdomen, press against her ribs, stroke along her neck. The heifer doesn't even flinch, just lets him work, and I feel something in my chest loosen slightly. "How long's she been showing symptoms?" he asks, not looking up from his examination. "Just found her like this a little while ago, but could have been all night for all I know." I cross my arms over my chest, watching him work. "She was fine yesterday. Eating normally and moving with the herd." "Any discharge?" "Coughing. Other changes in behavior the last few days." I think back, running through the past week in my mind. Nothing obvious. But we've got around 200 head to keep track of. I could have missed something. That's a good-sized herd. He pulls the stethoscope out, fitting it into his ears as he leans close to Betty's chest. His brow furrows in concentration, lips pressed together as he listens. The morning light catches on his profile, highlighting the strong line of his jaw, the slight crook in his nose, like maybe it was broken once. There's something almost pretty about him, which irritates me for reasons I don't want to examine. "Any idea what it is?" Boone asks, hovering nearby like a nervous mother hen. He's been quiet this whole time, unusual for him, and I wonder if he's as thrown by the new vet as I am. "Pneumonia," Liam says, still listening through the stethoscope. "Bacterial, from the sound of it. See how she's breathing? Shallow, rapid, working too hard for each breath." He moves the stethoscope to another position. "And there's crackling in her lungs. Fluid buildup." He sits back, pulling the stethoscope from his ears, and reaches for a thermometer from his bag. "Let me confirm the fever." I watch as he takes her temperature with practiced efficiency, the kind that comes from doing this 1,000 times. When he pulls the thermometer out and checks it, his mouth tightens. 104.2, he reports. "Yeah, she's fighting an infection. Probably been coming on for a day or two, but really hit her hard last night." The information settles over me, heavy but not hopeless. We can treat pneumonia. It isn't a death sentence. "What's the treatment?" I ask, trying to keep my voice neutral. "Antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, and fluids." She's dehydrated, see how tacky her gums are. He gently pulls back Betty's lip, showing me the pale, sticky mucous membranes. I'll start her on a course of medication. She'll need monitoring for the next few days, probably twice daily injections for at least a week. He's already pulling supplies from his bag. His experienced hands move with purpose, drawing up medication, checking dosages, and preparing the injection. There's no hesitation, no fumbling. We've had enough outsiders telling us how to run our herd, I say, and the words come out harder than I mean them to, rougher. But we have. The bank, the creditors, the uncle who hasn't set foot on this land in 15 years but somehow still holds the deed. Everyone's got an opinion about Lost Branch Ranch, and none of them have to live with the consequences when their advice turns to shit. I expect we'll get a lecture from this new guy before he leaves. Liam glances up at me then, and his eyes are green. Not just green, the kind of green you see in spring grass after a rain, bright and alive and startling in their intensity. They hold mine for a beat too long, and I see something flicker there. Amusement, maybe. Or challenge. Good thing I'm not telling you how to run your herd, he says evenly, no heat in it, just a statement of fact. I'm just telling you how to save this cow. The silence stretches between us, tension humming like a live wire. I can feel Boone shifting uncomfortably beside me, probably wondering if he needs to step between us. But Liam doesn't back down, doesn't look away, just holds my gaze with a steadiness that's both infuriating and oddly compelling. Then his mouth quirks into a half smile, something knowing in it, almost like he can read exactly what I'm thinking. Besides, he adds, turning back to Betty, it seems like you've been doing a pretty good job on your own. She's well fed, in good body condition, and clean. I can see that you take care of your animals. It's not what I expected him to say, and the compliment catches me off guard. I don't know how to respond, so I just watch as he goes back to work. He administers the injection with practiced ease, finding the vein in Betty's neck on the first try, murmuring soft reassurances to her that I shouldn't find as affecting as I do. There we go, sweetheart. Just a little pinch. You're doing so good. His voice is gentle, patient, the kind of tone you use with scared animals and small children. It's at odds with his confident, almost cocky demeanor from earlier, and the contrast does something strange to my chest. She'll need to rest somewhere dry, he continues, like we didn't just have a standoff over her prone body. He caps the needle, disposing of it safely in a container from his bag. Keep her separated from the herd for a few days. I'll come back tomorrow to check on her, and give her another round of antibiotics. That's not necessary, I start, because we can handle our own herd, because I don't need this city vet with his pretty face and knowing smile coming back here, getting under my skin. It's included in the service, he cuts me off smoothly, standing and brushing dirt off his knees. Up close he smells like coffee and something clean, maybe cedar or sage. Besides, I want to make sure she pulls through. Pneumonia can go south fast if you're not careful, and I'd hate to lose her after we got her started on treatment. He gathers his supplies, organizing them back into his bag with the same efficiency he showed during the exam. I find myself watching the way his hands move, quick and competent, long fingers, handling the equipment with care. They're good hands. Capable. There's a thin white scar across his left knuckles, and I wonder absently how he got it. You're not from around here, I say, because I need to say something that isn't "you're pretty," or "why do I feel like I've been kicked in the chest," or "what the hell is wrong with me?" Denver, he confirms, latching his bag shut and straightening. He's only a few feet away now, close enough that I can see the faint freckles across his nose, the way his hair curls just slightly at the ends. Moved up last month. Needed a change of scenery. Montana's a hell of a change from Denver. I mean it as a statement, but it comes out almost like a question. Yeah? His grin widens, and there's something almost mischievous in it, like he's got a secret he's not sharing. That's kind of the point. Got tired of the noise, the traffic there. He waves a hand vaguely. Everything. Wanted somewhere I could actually breathe, you know. See stars at night. Work with animals instead of just treating people's purse dogs. Despite myself, I feel my mouth twitch. We got plenty of stars. And these definitely aren't purse dogs. No, he agrees, glancing back at Betty with obvious affection. They're not. I like it better this way. There's something genuine in the way he says it. No hint of the condescension I was expecting from a city vet. He actually seems to mean it, seems to actually care about Betty, and not just the paycheck she represents. Before I can figure out what to say to that, he's headed back to his truck, bag swinging at his side. I watch him go, noticing things I shouldn't. The confident roll of his shoulders, the way his shirt pulls across his back when he moves, the fact that he handles himself on uneven ground, like he's done this before, like he belongs here. Thanks for coming out so quick, Boone calls after him, because someone in this family has to remember their manners, and apparently I've used all mine up for today. Any time, Liam says, tossing his bag into the passenger seat. Then he turns back, one hand on the truck door, and his eyes find mine across the distance. That smile makes another appearance, smaller this time, but somehow more intimate, like it's meant just for me. See you tomorrow, Carter. The way he says my name does something to my pulse that I'm going to ignore. There's a warmth to it, a familiarity that shouldn't be there after one meeting. Like he's already decided we're going to be friends, or maybe something more, and he's just waiting for me to catch up. I manage a nod, not trusting my voice. He climbs into his truck, and I watch as he pulls away, the silver Ford kicking up dust as it bounces back down the ranch road. The dust plume trails behind him like a farewell, hanging in the still morning air long after he's disappeared from sight. He seems nice, Boone ventures carefully, his tone suggesting he's testing the waters. He seems like trouble, I mutter, but even as I say it, I'm remembering the gentle way Liam handled Betty, the calm authority in his voice, the fact that he didn't back down when I tried to push him away. I'm remembering those green eyes, and that knowing smile, and the way my heart kicked up when he said my name. The heifer stirs beside us, lifting her head just slightly. Her breathing already sounds a little easier, less labored. It's a good sign. A very good sign. Come on, I say to Boone, trying to shake off whatever the hell just happened. Let's get her moved to the barn, somewhere dry like he said. Then we've still got that fence to fix, and 50 head to move before lunch. You think he knows what he's doing? Boone asks as we start preparing to move Betty. I think about the sure way Liam handled the examination, the quick diagnosis, the efficient treatment. I think about those calluses on his hands, and the genuine care in his voice when he talked to the heifer. Yeah, I admit reluctantly. I think he does. But as we work to get Betty on her feet and headed toward the barn, I can't quite get those green eyes out of my head. Can't stop hearing the way he said my name, like he was tasting it. Can't forget that grin, crooked and confident and aimed right at me. Damn it. This is exactly the kind of complication I don't need. Not with the ranch barely holding on. Not with 4 brothers depending on me to keep things together. Not with an uncle who could show up any day and take it all away. But when I close my eyes for just a second, all I see is Liam Newton's smile. Yeah. He's gonna be trouble.
Chapter 2. Liam. I tell myself I'm driving back to the Lost Branch Ranch, purely for professional reasons. The heifer needs a follow-up exam, another round of antibiotics, and I want to make sure she's responding well to treatment. That's it. That's the only reason I'm heading down this dirt road at 8 in the morning, with my heart beating just a little faster than it should be. It has nothing to do with Carter Branch. Nothing to do with the way his dark eyes tracked me yesterday, wary and intense, like he was trying to figure me out, and didn't much like what he was finding. Nothing to do with the way his voice had gone rough when he'd pushed back at me, all protective and defensive over his herd. Nothing to do with the fact that I'd gone home last night and couldn't stop thinking about the set of his shoulders, the capable way he'd handled that sick heifer, or the glimpse of something vulnerable underneath all that gruff exterior. Nope. Purely professional. The ranch looks different in full daylight, sprawling and beautiful in that rugged Montana way that still takes my breath away even after a month of living here. Rolling pastures stretch out in every direction, bounded by weathered fences and dotted with grazing cattle. The mountains rise in the distance, snow-capped peaks against an impossibly blue sky. The kind of view that makes you understand why people fight to hold onto land like this. I park near the barn, same spot as yesterday, and grab my vet bag from the passenger seat. The air smells like hay and animals and earth, so different from Denver's exhaust and concrete. I'm still adjusting to the quiet out here, the way sound carries differently, the absence of constant traffic noise. Dr. Newton. I turn to see the same younger guy from yesterday jogging over from one of the outbuildings, early 20s, lanky, with Carter's dark hair but a much friendlier expression. He's got a grin that takes up half his face, and an energy that reminds me of an overexcited golden retriever. Just Liam's fine, I say, extending my hand. I don't think we officially met yesterday. You must be one of Carter's brothers. Boone, he confirms, shaking with enthusiasm. The youngest and, according to Carter, the most annoying. You're here to check on Black Betty? That's the plan. How's she doing? Better, I think. Eating more, breathing easier. Carter moved her to the barn like you said, and we've been keeping a close eye on her. Boone starts walking toward the barn, and I fall into step beside him. He's been checking on her every couple hours. Barely slept last night, I don't think. Something warm settles in my chest at that image. Carter Branch staying up to watch over a sick animal, refusing to lose her on his watch. It fits with what I'd observed yesterday, that fierce protectiveness, that bone-deep responsibility. That's good, I say. Shows he cares. Oh, Carter cares about everything on this ranch. Sometimes I think he cares too much, you know. Takes it all on himself, like he's got to hold the whole place together, single-handed. Boone glances at me, something curious in his expression. He can be kind of an ass about accepting help, though. Fair warning. I laugh. Yeah, I got that impression. We reach the barn, and Boone pulls open the door. Inside, it's dim and cool, smelling like hay and leather and animals. I can hear the low sounds of cattle, the rustle of hay, and someone moving around deeper in the building. Carter, Boone calls out. The vet's here. There's a pause, then footsteps, and then Carter emerges from one of the stalls, and my stupid heart does that thing again where it kicks up for no good reason. He's wearing a different flannel today, dark green and brown that brings out something in his eyes, over a white t-shirt that's seen better days. There's hay in his dark hair, and a smudge of dirt on his jaw, and he looks tired, with shadows under his eyes that confirm Boone's assessment about not sleeping. He's still unfairly attractive, all broad shoulders and rough edges, and I need to get a grip. Dr. Newton, he says, his voice carefully neutral. Didn't expect you this early. Liam, I correct him automatically. And I wanted to catch you before you got too deep into the day. Mind if I check on our patient? He hesitates for just a second, and I can practically see him considering telling me it's not necessary, that they can handle it themselves. But then he nods, jerky and reluctant, and gestures toward the stall behind him. She's back here. I follow him deeper into the barn, very deliberately not noticing the way his jeans fit or how his shoulders move under the flannel. Black Betty is in a clean stall with fresh hay, and she's on her feet, which is an excellent sign. Her head comes up when she sees us, ears forward with interest rather than alarm. Hey, beautiful, I murmur, setting my bag down and approaching slowly. Look at you, up and moving. That's what I like to see. Carter leans against the stall door, arms crossed over his chest in that defensive posture I'm starting to recognize. She got up about an hour after we brought her in yesterday. Been eating and drinking since last night. That's great. Really great. I run my hands over Betty, checking her temperature, listening to her lungs, feeling for any remaining tension in her body. Everything's improved. The fever's down, her breathing is clearer, and she's got her energy back. She's responding well to the antibiotics. I'll give her another dose, and then we can probably space them out to once daily after tomorrow. I pull the medication from my bag, preparing the injection with practiced movements. Betty barely flinches when I administer it, just swishes her tail, and goes back to investigating the hay. You're good with her, Carter observes, and there's something in his voice I can't quite read. I like animals better than people most days, I admit, disposing of the needle and packing up my supplies. They're honest. No games, no politics. Just straightforward needs and responses. That why you left Denver? The question surprises me. I glance over to find him watching me with those dark, intense eyes, and there's genuine curiosity there beneath the wariness. Part of it, I say honestly. Got tired of treating apartment dogs with anxiety and rich people's horses that only got exercised on the weekends. It wasn't all bad, of course. There were plenty of good, responsible pet owners who obviously loved their animals. I still miss some of them. But there were enough of the other kind to make me want to move away and never look back. Something shifts in Carter's expression, softening just slightly. Doc Hendricks felt the same way. Used to say he went into large animal practice because cows don't care how much money you make. Smart man. Yeah, he was. Carter's quiet for a moment, and I can see him weighing something. Thanks for coming out again. I know you said it was included, but still. Appreciate it. The grudging gratitude does something to me. Makes me want to work for more of it. Makes me want to see him actually smile instead of just that careful, neutral expression. Any time, I say, meaning it. That's what I'm here for. Before Carter can respond, footsteps sound at the barn entrance, and another voice calls out. Carter, you in here? I need you to. A new brother appears, this one somewhere between Carter and Boone in age, with lighter brown hair and an athletic build. He's got a toolbox in one hand and stops short when he sees me, his eyes going wide with recognition before a grin spreads across his face. You must be the handsome vet, he says, and there's way too much amusement in his voice. I feel heat crawl up my neck. Next to me, Carter goes rigid. Weston, Carter growls in a tone that very clearly means shut up. What? Weston's grin gets wider, all innocence that's absolutely not innocent. That's what Boone called him. Said the new vet was handsome, and actually knew what he was doing, and Carter got all weird about it. I did not get weird. You totally did, Boone's voice chimes in as he appears behind Weston. You got that face you get when you're trying not to react to something. I don't have a face. You definitely have a face, Weston confirms. It's the same face you made when Sarah Jennings tried to kiss you in high school, and you panicked. I'm trying very hard not to laugh, but it's a losing battle. Carter's ears are red now, that stoic expression cracking into something flustered and frustrated and almost endearing. He's not good at being teased, and his brothers clearly know it and enjoy pushing his buttons. I'm gonna murder both of you, Carter says flatly. Can't murder us. You need us to keep the ranch running. Weston turns to me, extending his hand. Weston Branch. Sorry about Carter. He's not used to pretty men showing up and being competent. I shake his hand, definitely blushing now. Liam Newton. And I'm just doing my job. Well, you're doing it well, according to the patient. Weston nods toward Betty. She looks a hell of a lot better than yesterday. She's a fighter, I say. And your brother took good care of her. Made sure she had everything she needed. I glance at Carter as I say it, and find him looking at me with an expression I can't quite read, something between embarrassed and pleased and still a little wary. Yeah, well, he mutters. Couldn't let her die on my watch. Told you he cares too much, Boone says cheerfully. Weston checks his watch. Speaking of which, we need to get that north fence finished before the weather turns. Storm's supposed to roll in this afternoon. As if on cue, I notice the quality of light has changed, the barn dimmer than it was when I arrived. Through the open door, I can see clouds building on the horizon, dark and heavy with rain. You should probably head out before it hits, Carter says to me. These mountain storms come up fast. I've got time, I say, though I glance at the sky with some concern. Let me just check. The first rumble of thunder cuts me off, low and distant but unmistakable. Weston swears under his breath. That's closer than I thought. Come on, Boone, let's get the tools secured before this hits. He nods at me. Nice meeting you, Doc. Try not to let Carter scare you off. I don't scare easy, I say, and Weston's grin suggests he knows exactly what I mean. The two younger brothers head out, leaving me alone with Carter and the growing sound of thunder. Wind picks up, whistling through the gaps in the barn walls, and I can smell the rain coming, that sharp, unmistakable scent that precedes a storm. You really should go, Carter says, but he doesn't move toward the door. Probably, I agree, but I don't move either. We stand there for a moment, the air between us charged with something that has nothing to do with the approaching storm. Carter's looking at me again with that intensity that makes my pulse kick up, and I'm wondering what he sees, what he's thinking behind those dark eyes. Then the sky opens up. Rain hits the barn roof like a freight train, sudden and deafening. Through the door, I can see sheets of water coming down, turning the ranch yard into a muddy lake in seconds. Lightning flashes, close enough that the thunder follows almost immediately, shaking the building. Shit, I say eloquently. Yeah. Carter moves to close the barn door against the wind and rain. You're not driving anywhere in this. Road'll be a mudslide in 5 minutes. He says it matter-of-factly, but I catch something underneath, resignation maybe, or acceptance. Like he knows we're stuck together, and he's not entirely sure how he feels about it. Guess I'm keeping you company then, I say, trying for lightness. Carter grunts, but I think I see the corner of his mouth twitch. Guess so. The barn feels smaller suddenly, more intimate with the door closed and the storm raging outside. It's just us and the animals, the sound of rain pounding overhead, and the occasional flash of lightning through the cracks. Carter moves to check on the other animals in the barn, and I follow, not sure what else to do. You got a lot of stock in here, I observe, noting the handful of horses, a few more cattle, what looks like a goat in one corner. This is the sick bay, basically. Betty? Couple horses with minor injuries. That goat's pregnant and we're keeping an eye on her. Carter runs a hand along one of the horses' necks, his touch gentle despite his rough exterior. I try to keep the high-maintenance ones close to the house. Makes sense. I watch him work, the easy confidence in how he handles the animals, the obvious care. How long have you been running this place? Since Dad died. 4 years now. His voice is carefully neutral, but I hear the weight underneath. It's been me and my brothers holding it together. That's a lot of responsibility. Yeah, well, someone's gotta do it. He glances at me, something challenging in his look. Guess you think we're in over our heads. I think you're doing an impressive job with whatever resources you have, I say honestly. This place is well maintained. The animals are healthy and cared for. That doesn't happen by accident. He blinks, clearly not expecting the compliment. We do our best. It shows. The silence that follows is less tense than before. Rain continues to hammer the roof, and thunder rumbles in the distance. I find myself relaxing into it, into the dim quiet of the barn, the smell of hay and animals, the solid presence of Carter Branch a few feet away. How long you planning on staying? He asks suddenly. In Montana, I mean. Long as it takes to feel like home, I guess. Or until I figure out what I'm running from. The words slip out before I can stop them, more honest than I intended. Carter looks at me sharply. Thought you said you came here for the change of scenery. I did. But people don't usually uproot their whole lives just because they're bored. I lean against a support post, watching rain stream down the small window. Had a bad breakup, a job I was starting to hate, parents who couldn't understand why I wasn't satisfied with the prestigious clinic I was working at. I needed to get out, start over somewhere nobody knew me or had expectations. And you picked Montana. I picked nowhere. Threw a dart at a map, basically. Saw the job posting for Doc Hendrick's replacement, and it felt like a sign. I smile at him. So far, I don't regret it. Even though it's the middle of nowhere, and we're all probably going to drive you crazy within a month. Even though. I hold his gaze. I like it here. Feels real, you know. No pretense, no bullshit. Just people trying to make an honest living and take care of what's theirs. Something flickers across Carter's face, surprise maybe, or something softer. He looks away first, back toward the animals, but the tension in his shoulders has eased. Your brothers seem nice, I offer, trying to keep the conversation going. Carter snorts. They're a pain in my ass. Yeah, but you love them. Doesn't mean they're not a pain in my ass. But there's affection underneath the grumbling. Boone's the baby, can't keep him focused to save his life. Weston's good with his hands but reckless. Wyatt, you haven't met him yet, thinks he knows better than everyone else. And Sawyer's barely around anymore, off chasing rodeo dreams. 5 brothers total. Yeah. I'm the oldest, lucky me. Gets to be the responsible one, who keeps everyone in line. He shakes his head. They're good guys, though. They work hard, even when they're driving me insane. Couldn't run this place without them. I can hear the love underneath the exasperation, the bone-deep loyalty. It makes me like him even more, this gruff cowboy who pretends not to care but so obviously does. We lapse into silence again, but it's easier now, less weighted. I watch Carter work, checking water buckets, adjusting blankets, running his hands over each animal with practiced care. There's a rhythm to it, a meditation in the routine. Every movement is efficient, purposeful, born from years of doing the same work day after day. Lightning flashes, and in the brief illumination I see him clearly, the strong profile, the concentration in his expression, the capable hands. He's beautiful in a harsh, angular way, all hard lines and rough edges, but there's something compelling about it, something that makes me want to look closer. As if sensing my attention, he glances over, and our eyes meet across the dim space. For a moment, neither of us looks away. His expression is unreadable, but there's heat there, something simmering underneath the surface that makes my breath catch. Then he clears his throat and turns back to the horse he's checking. Storm should pass in another hour or so. Montana weather moves fast. Right. My voice comes out rougher than I intended. Good. Except, I'm not sure I want it to pass. Not sure I want to leave this barn, and the strange intimacy of being storm-trapped with Carter Branch, learning the pieces of him beneath that defensive exterior. I move to help with the water buckets, needing something to do with my hands. Carter watches me for a second, but then he nods and goes back to work. When I reach for the same bucket he does, our hands brush. Just a quick touch, skin against skin, but I feel it like an electric shock. Carter jerks his hand back like he's been burned, and I see his throat work as he swallows. Sorry, I mutter. It's fine. But his voice is tight. The barn feels too warm suddenly, despite the cool air from outside. I'm aware of every movement Carter makes, every time he comes close, and the way the space between our bodies can be measured in inches. When he reaches past me to grab a lead rope, his arm brushes my shoulder, and I have to bite back another reaction. This is dangerous. This awareness, this pull. I barely know this man, and what I do know suggests he's not interested in complications. But my body doesn't seem to care about logic. Too busy cataloging every detail. The way his shirt pulls across his shoulders when he lifts the water bucket, the corded muscles in his forearms, the competent way he moves through this space he knows so well. So, I say, desperate for distraction, your brother mentioned you got weird when he called me handsome. Carter's head whips around, eyes wide. I did not. That's not Jesus Christ. I can't help it. I laugh. His flustered reaction is so at odds with his usual stoic demeanor that it's endearing as hell. It's fine, I assure him, still grinning. I'm not offended. I didn't get weird, they're just, he stops, runs a hand through his hair in frustration, dislodging more hay. They like to give me shit. Brothers do that, I agree. For what it's worth, I think you're handsome too. The words hang in the air between us, bold and reckless. I watch Carter's eyes go dark, his expression shifting into something I can't quite read but that makes heat pool low in my belly. Dr. Newton. Liam, I correct softly. My name's Liam. Liam. He says it like he's tasting it, slow and careful. I don't think, this isn't. I know. I do know. I can see the conflict written all over his face, the war between want and responsibility, between whatever he might be feeling and all the reasons he can't act on it. I'm not asking for anything, just stating a fact. You shouldn't, he says, but he doesn't sound convinced. Probably not, I agree. But I'm not great at playing it safe. Kind of why I ended up in Montana. Something that might be a smile tugs at the corner of his mouth. That's a terrible life philosophy. Maybe. But it keeps things interesting. We're standing too close now, I realize. Somehow, in the last few minutes, the space between us has shrunk to almost nothing. I can see the flecks of amber in his dark eyes, the way his pupils have dilated. Can see the slight part of his lips, and the rapid flutter of his pulse in his throat. The air feels charged, heavy with possibility and the ozone smell of the storm. Carter's looking at me like he's torn between running and staying, between pushing me away and pulling me closer. Liam, he says again, and this time it sounds like a warning. Or maybe a plea. Yeah. The storm's letting up. I listen, and he's right. The rain has eased from a pounding roar to a steady patter. The thunder is more distant now, rolling away toward the mountains. We have maybe 5-10 minutes before it's reasonable for me to leave. So it is, I say quietly. Carter's hand comes up, slow and hesitant, like he's acting without conscious thought. His fingers brush my jaw, rough and warm, and I feel that touch everywhere. His thumb traces along my cheekbone, and his eyes follow the movement like he's memorizing it. This is a bad idea, he murmurs. Probably, I agree, my voice barely above a whisper. I don't do this. Get involved with people. Don't have time for complications. I know. And you're leaving eventually. Back to Denver, or wherever. They all do. There's old hurt in those words, layers of it. People who left, who didn't stay, who didn't think this place was worth the effort. Maybe, I say honestly. Or maybe I'll stay. Haven't decided yet. His hand drops away, and the loss of contact feels like cold water. He steps back, putting distance between us, and I see him rebuilding those walls I'd felt crumbling. You should go, he says, while you can still make it down the road. Carter. I'll check on Betty myself tomorrow. You don't need to make another trip out here. The dismissal stings, but I understand it. He's scared. Scared of whatever this is between us. Scared of wanting something he doesn't think he can have. Scared of one more thing to lose. All right, I say, because pushing won't help. But call me if anything changes with her condition. Or any of the other animals. That's what I'm here for. He nods, not meeting my eyes. I gather my bag and move toward the door, but I pause with my hand on the handle. When I look back, I catch him watching me, and there's such naked longing in his expression that it takes my breath away. Then he notices me noticing, and the mask slams back down. Drive carefully, he says gruffly. The roads are gonna be slick. Always do. I hesitate, then add, thanks for the shelter. And the company. His throat works. Yeah. Sure. I push open the barn door and step out into the aftermath of the storm. The rain has dwindled to a light drizzle, and the air smells clean and fresh, electric with ozone. Puddles dot the ranch yard, reflecting the gray sky. My truck sits where I left it, coated in mud splatter. As I walk toward it, I can feel Carter watching me from the barn doorway. I don't turn around this time, but I know he's there. Can feel his eyes on me like a physical touch. I climb into my truck, start the engine, and finally glance in the rearview mirror. He's still standing there with one hand braced against the door frame, his silhouette dark against the barn's interior light. He's watching me leave. And he looks like he wishes he wasn't. I smile to myself as I pull away, my tires splashing through puddles. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. Carter Branch might be trying to push me away, but I saw the way he looked at me. I felt the heat in that touch. He's scared. I get it. But I've never been good at walking away from something worth fighting for. And something tells me Carter Branch just might be worth it.
Chapter 3. Carter. I'm going to kill my brothers. All of them. Slowly. Starting with Wyatt, who's currently driving like he owns the road, windows down and country music blasting while he sings off-key. Then Weston, who spent 20 minutes convincing me that skipping the feed store barbecue would be stupid and pointless and somehow even bad for business. Then Boone, who's sitting in the back seat looking way too pleased with himself for getting me into the truck in the first place. Would you stop glaring? Wyatt says without taking his eyes off the road. You're gonna give yourself wrinkles. I don't want to be here, I remind him for the 10th time. Yeah, we know. You've mentioned it. Weston twists around from the passenger seat, grinning. But the whole town's gonna be there, which means potential buyers, potential connections, and free food. So stop being a hermit and try to pretend you're a functioning member of society for a few hours. I function just fine. On the ranch, sure. In public? You're basically a caveman. I flip him off, which just makes him laugh. The truth is, I've been avoiding town since the storm 2 weeks ago. Since I touched Liam Newton's cheek, and he looked at me like he wanted to do a hell of a lot more than touch, and I panicked and sent him away. Since I've been lying awake at night remembering the warmth of his skin under my fingertips, the way his breath hitched when I got close, and the heat in those green eyes. I haven't called him. Haven't needed to. Betty recovered completely, and the rest of the herd's been healthy. No reason to see him. No reason to put myself in a situation where I might do something stupid. Except now my brothers are dragging me to a town barbecue where he's guaranteed to be, because apparently the feed store makes a big deal out of welcoming newcomers, and Liam's the newest arrival worth celebrating. Perfect. The feed store's parking lot is already packed when we arrive, trucks lined up in neat rows, and people milling around the outdoor space they've set up behind the building. There are picnic tables covered in red checked cloths, a smoker billowing fragrant smoke, hay bales arranged for seating, and a small raised platform that I'm trying very hard not to recognize as a dance floor. See? Wyatt says, killing the engine. This is nice. Community. You remember community, right? Vaguely, I mutter, but I'm already scanning the crowd looking for. There. Liam's standing near the food table, laughing at something Mrs. Kowalski is saying. He's wearing dark jeans and a blue button-down with the sleeves rolled up, hair slightly messy like he ran his fingers through it, and he looks so good it makes my chest tight. Mrs. Kowalski, 70 if she's a day and the biggest gossip in 3 counties, has her hand on his arm, clearly charmed. Of course she is. Everyone seems to be charmed by Liam Newton. Oh good, the handsome vet's here, Boone says cheerfully, following my gaze. You should go say hi. I should go home. Too late. He spotted you. Weston waves, the traitor, and sure enough, Liam's looking our way now, his face lighting up with a smile that does dangerous things to my pulse. He says something to Mrs. Kowalski and starts heading in our direction, weaving through the crowd with that easy confidence that seems to come naturally to him. I consider bolting for the truck, but that would be obvious and pathetic, so I stand my ground and try to look like my heart isn't trying to beat out of my chest. "Carter," Liam says when he reaches us, and just the way he says my name makes my skin warm. "Didn't expect to see you here." "Brothers dragged me," I say, aiming for gruff and probably landing on defensive. "Best thing we've done all week," Wyatt interjects, extending his hand to Liam. "Wyatt Branch. Don't think we've met properly." "Liam Newton. Good to finally meet you. I've heard a lot about you from your brothers." "All lies," Wyatt says solemnly. "I'm a perfect angel." Liam laughs, warm and genuine, and I hate how much I like the sound of it. "I'm sure. How's Black Betty doing?" "Good as new," I say before Wyatt can respond. "Back with the herd, no issues." "That's great. Really great." His eyes meet mine, and there's something in them that makes the rest of the crowd fade into background noise. I'm glad the treatment worked. "You knew what you were doing." High praise from Carter Branch, Weston says with way too much amusement. Usually takes him months to admit someone's competent. "I can admit when someone's good at their job," I protest. "Yeah, but you don't usually look at them like, ow." Weston rubs his ribs where I elbowed him. "What the hell, Carter?" "Mosquito," I lie through my teeth. Liam's trying not to smile, I can tell. His mouth twitches, and there's laughter in his eyes, and I want to kiss that almost smile right off his face, which is a thought I absolutely cannot be having in the middle of a town barbecue. "We should grab food before it's all gone," Boone suggests, oblivious to the tension. "You coming, Liam?" "Sure." But Liam's still looking at me. "Carter." My brothers are already moving toward the food table, leaving me standing there with Liam, who's waiting for my answer like it matters. Like he wants me to say yes. "I could eat," I say finally, which is not remotely what I want to say, but is probably safer than any of the alternatives. We follow my brothers to the food line, and I'm extremely aware of Liam next to me. People keep stopping him to say hello, to welcome him to town, to tell him how glad they are that someone so nice and good-natured took over Doc Hendrick's practice. He's good with them, friendly and warm, remembering names and asking questions that show he's actually listening. Mrs. Kowalski appears at my elbow like she's been summoned. "Carter Branch, I haven't seen you in town for weeks. Thought you turned into a ghost." "Been busy with the ranch, Mrs. K." "Too busy for church? For the town meetings?" She TSKS, but there's affection in it. She's known me since I was in diapers, used to bring casseroles when Mom got sick, showed up with more when Dad died. "You work too hard, boy. Need to make time for living, not just surviving." "I'm living just fine." "Are you?" Her sharp eyes flick between me and Liam, something knowing in her expression. "Because from where I'm standing, you look like a man who forgot how to have fun." "Mrs. K." "Don't Mrs. K me. I'm old, not blind." She pats my arm, then turns to Liam with a smile that's pure mischief. "Dr. Newton, you're planning to stay for the dancing later, aren't you?" "Dancing?" Liam glances at the platform I'd been trying to ignore. "I didn't realize there'd be dancing." "Oh yes, once the sun goes down. The McGrath boys bring their instruments, we clear some space, and everyone who's got 2 feet and a pulse gets out there." She looks pointedly at me. "Even antisocial ranchers who think they're too busy." "I don't dance," I say flatly. "You used to. I remember you at the Harvest Festival when you were 17, dancing with half the girls in town. That was a lifetime ago. Before Dad died, before the ranch became my entire world, before I learned that letting people get close just meant more to lose. That was different." The only difference is you've forgotten how, Mrs. Kowalski says firmly. Maybe someone should remind you. Another pointed look at Liam, who's developed a sudden fascination with the potato salad. Mrs. K, I don't think. Oh, hush. I'm old, I can say what I want. She squeezes my arm, then leans in conspiratorially. He's a good one, Carter. And he looks at you like you hung the moon. Don't be too stubborn to see it. Before I can formulate a response to that, she's gliding away to meddle in someone else's business, leaving me standing there with heat creeping up my neck and Liam very deliberately not looking at me. She's something, Liam says finally. She's a menace, I mutter. Known her my whole life. She thinks because she brought me casseroles as a kid, she gets a say in my personal life. Does she? Liam asks, and when I look at him, there's a challenge in his eyes. Get a say? The question hangs between us, loaded with meaning. I don't know how to answer it, don't know how to explain that it's not about what Mrs. Kowalski or anyone else thinks. It's about the fact that I can't afford distractions, can't afford to want things I can't keep. Come on, I say instead, grabbing a plate. Let's eat before Boone inhales everything. We load up our plates, brisket that falls apart at the touch, potato salad, coleslaw, and cornbread that's still warm from the oven, and find a spot at one of the picnic tables where my brothers have already claimed space. The food is good, the conversation flows easily around us, and I almost manage to relax. Almost. Because every time I glance over, Liam's there, and I'm noticing things I shouldn't. The way he holds his fork, long fingers wrapped around it with easy grace. The way he laughs at Wyatt's terrible jokes, genuine and unguarded. The way the late afternoon sun catches in his hair, turning it bronze. The way he keeps looking at me when he thinks I'm not paying attention, like he's trying to figure me out. The sun starts to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and purple that make the mountains look like they're on fire. Someone starts a bonfire in a barrel, and the McGrath brothers set up on the platform with a guitar, fiddle, and bass. The first notes drift across the gathering, and people start pairing up, moving toward the makeshift dance floor. I'm thinking about how to make a graceful exit when Mrs. Kowalski's voice cuts through the crowd. Carter Branch, get your grumpy behind over here. I consider pretending I didn't hear her, but that's never worked before and won't work now. With a sigh, I push back from the table and head in her direction, aware of my brother's laughter following me. Mrs. Kowalski is standing near the dance floor with her husband, Tom, who's looking at me with sympathy. Don't make me come over there, she threatens. What do you want, Mrs. K? I want you to dance with your new friend. She gestures toward Liam, who's appeared at my elbow again like he's been summoned. You two have been circling each other all evening like nervous colts. It's exhausting to watch. Mrs. K, we're not. Oh, save it. I've got eyes. She looks at Liam. Do you know how to dance, Dr. Newton? I can manage, Liam says, and there's amusement in his voice that makes me want to strangle him. But only if Carter wants to. They're both looking at me now, waiting, and I'm acutely aware of half the town watching this play out with interest. If I refuse, it'll be all over town by morning that Carter Branch was too uptight to dance with the new vet. If I agree, I'm going to have Liam's hands on me in front of everyone, and I'm not sure I can handle that without giving away how much I want it. One dance, I hear myself say. Then you leave me alone. Mrs. Kowalski's smile is triumphant. Deal. The McGrath brothers launch into a slow song, something classic and twangy that everyone knows, and Liam extends his hand toward me, eyebrows raised in question. I take it. His hand is warm, calloused in the right places, and the contact sends electricity up my arm. He leads me onto the floor with more confidence than I feel, and then we're standing there, the music swelling around us, trying to figure out the logistics of two men dancing at a small-town barbecue. I should probably lead, I say, Because I'm taller and this is my town and I need some illusion of control. Okay, Liam agrees easily. I put one hand on his waist, feel the warmth of him through his shirt, and take his other hand in mine. He rests his free hand on my shoulder, and we start to move, swaying more than actually dancing, finding a rhythm that works. This isn't so bad, Liam murmurs, close enough that I can feel his breath against my jaw. It's torture, I admit honestly, because being this close to him, touching him, breathing in the cedar and coffee scent of him, it's everything I've been trying to avoid. Yeah. His fingers tighten slightly on my shoulder. Why? You know why? Maybe, I want to hear you say it. I risk looking at him, and that's a mistake. His eyes are dark in the firelight, intense and focused entirely on me. His lips are slightly parted, and I can see his pulse beating in his throat. He's beautiful and infuriating, and so close I could kiss him if I just leaned forward a few inches. Because you make me want things I can't have, I say, the words rough and honest. Because I don't have time for this. Because you're going to leave eventually, and I can't. I haven't left yet, he interrupts softly. And I'm not planning to. Everyone leaves. Not everyone. His hand slides from my shoulder to the back of my neck, fingers tangling in my hair, and the touch makes my breath stutter. Some of us know a good thing when we find it. The song shifts to something even slower and more intimate, and we're barely moving now, just swaying in place while the rest of the world fades away. I'm drowning in green eyes and the warmth of his body against mine, and I've forgotten why this is a bad idea. Carter, he whispers, and it sounds like a prayer. We should stop, I say, but I don't move away. Probably. People are watching. Let them watch. His thumb strokes the back of my neck, and I feel it everywhere, heat pooling low in my belly, making it hard to think about anything except how much I want him. Want to kiss him, touch him, take him home, and learn every inch of him. I can't do this here, I manage, and I mean it. If I kiss him now, with half the town watching, it'll be all anyone talks about for weeks. But more than that, I'm afraid of what I'll do, how I'll lose control if I let myself have even a taste. Liam's eyes search mine, reading something there. Then where? It's a challenge and an invitation all at once. The song is ending, people are starting to clap, and I make a decision that's probably stupid but feels inevitable. Barn, I say quietly. Behind the feed store. In 5 minutes. His breath catches, pupils dilating. Okay. We break apart as the music ends, and I can feel eyes on us from every direction. Mrs. Kowalski looks smug, my brothers look way too interested, and I ignore all of them, heading for the edge of the crowd with my heart pounding against my ribs. The barn behind the feed store is old and barely used except for storage. I slip inside, into the darkness that smells like dust and old hay, and lean against the wall, trying to calm my racing pulse. What am I doing? This is reckless and stupid, everything I've been trying to avoid. The door opens, and Liam slips inside, silhouetted against the fading light. He closes the door behind him, and then we're alone in the darkness, breathing hard like we've been running. Carter, he says, and I'm moving before I can think better of it. I cross the space between us in 3 strides, back him against the door and kiss him. He makes a sound, surprise or pleasure or both, and then he's kissing me back, his hands coming up to grip my shirt, pulling me closer. His lips are soft and warm, and taste faintly of beer and cornbread, and I can't get enough. I angle my head, deepening the kiss, and he opens for me, lets me in, meets me with equal hunger. It's not gentle. It's desperate and demanding. 2 weeks of tension and denial breaking open all at once. His fingers tangle in my hair, pulling just hard enough to make me groan, and I press him harder against the door, wanting to feel every inch of him against me. His leg hooks around mine, hips rolling forward, and I feel how hard he is, feel the answering hardness in my own jeans. The friction makes us both gasp, breaking the kiss, and I press my forehead against his, trying to catch my breath. Fuck, I pant. Yeah, he agrees, breathless. His hands are still in my hair, holding me close like he's afraid I'll pull away. That was a mistake, I say, but I don't mean it, can't mean it when I can still taste him, when every nerve ending is on fire. Didn't feel like a mistake. His thumb traces my jaw, gentle despite the hunger still simmering between us. Felt like something I've been wanting since the minute I first laid eyes on you. Liam. I know. You're scared. You've got the ranch and your brothers, and 1,000 reasons why this is complicated. His other hand comes up to cup my face, making me look at him. But I'm not going anywhere. I meant what I said. I'm staying. And I want this. I want you. The honesty in his voice undoes something in me, some last defense I'd been clinging to. I want to believe him. Want to believe that maybe, just maybe, I can have this. Have him. But wanting and having are different things, and I've learned the hard way that wanting just makes it hurt more when you lose it. I can't, I say, and I hear the break in my own voice. I can't do this, Liam. I can't have you and run the ranch and keep everything together. Something's gonna give, and I can't let it be the ranch. My brothers depend on me. The animals depend on me. I don't have room for what? For feeling something? For letting someone in? His voice is gentle but firm. Carter, you can't live your whole life on that ranch, taking care of everyone else and never letting anyone take care of you. It's not that simple. Maybe it is. Maybe you're just making it complicated because you're scared. He's right, and that's what makes it worse. I am scared. Terrified, actually. Of wanting him too much, of needing him, of building something that could fall apart and take me with it. I pull away, putting space between us, and the loss of contact feels like tearing off skin. I should go. Carter. I'm sorry. I move toward the door, and he steps aside to let me pass, but I can feel his disappointment, his hurt radiating like heat. I'm sorry, Liam. I can't. I push through the door into the night, the cool air hitting my heated skin like a slap. The barbecue is still going strong, music and laughter drifting on the breeze, but I can't go back there. Can't face my brother's questions, or Mrs. Kowalski's knowing looks, or the feeling of Liam's eyes on me from across the crowd. I find Wyatt by the trucks, talking to some guys from the lumberyard. I'm heading home. You got a ride? He takes one look at my face and doesn't argue. Yeah, I can catch a lift. You okay? Fine. Carter. I'm fine, I repeat, harder this time. I climb into the truck and peel out of the parking lot, gravel spraying under my tires. In the rearview mirror, I see the barn door open, see Liam step out into the light, see him watch me go. Again. The drive home is a blur. I park in front of the house, but I don't go inside. Instead, I head for the stables, needing the familiar comfort of the animals, the routine of checking on them. Anything to stop thinking about Liam's taste, his touch, the way he'd looked at me like I was worth fighting for. I'm grooming one of the horses when I hear footsteps behind me. Want to talk about it? Boone's voice careful and concerned. No. You kissed him, didn't you? The vet. My hand still on the brush. How did you? You disappeared at the same time, came back looking like you'd been hit by a truck, and then left without saying goodbye to anyone. Boone leans against the stall door. Not exactly subtle, Carter. I go back to brushing, harder than necessary. It was a mistake. Was it? Yes. Didn't look like a mistake from where I was standing. Looked like maybe the first smart thing you've done in years. I turn to face him, frustrated and raw. I don't have time for this, Boone. For him. We're barely holding this place together, as it is. Bullshit. The curse surprises me, coming from my usually easygoing youngest brother. We're doing fine. The ranch is fine. You're the one falling apart because you won't let yourself have anything good. That's not. It is, though. You've been taking care of us since Dad died, working yourself to the bone, never taking a day off, never letting yourself want anything that isn't ranch-related. And now someone actually wants you back, and you're running scared. The words hit too close to home. It's more complicated than that. Only because you're making it complicated. Boone's expression softens. Carter, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have someone who looks at you the way Liam does. And maybe he'll leave. Maybe it won't work out, but maybe it will. You'll never know if you don't try. I want to argue, want to list all the reasons he's wrong, but I can't find the words. Because part of me, a big part, knows he's right. Knows I'm sabotaging myself, running from something good, because I'm too afraid to risk the pain. I kissed him and I ran, I admit quietly. Left him standing there because I panicked. So call him. Apologize. Try again. What if I can't do it? What if I can't balance the ranch and I can't even say it? A relationship? A boyfriend? A life? Boone shakes his head. You won't know until you try. And Carter, you're allowed to have both. You're allowed to keep the ranch and have someone who cares about you. They're not mutually exclusive. He pushes off from the stall door, heading back toward the house. At the entrance, he pauses. For what it's worth, I like him. He's good for you. Makes you less of a grumpy asshole. I'm not. You are. But we love you anyway. He grins. Now stop hiding in the barn and go fix this. He's gone before I can respond, leaving me alone with the horses and my tangled thoughts. I finish grooming, check the water buckets, and make sure all the stalls are secure, falling back into routine because routine is safe. But even as I work, I'm thinking about Liam. About the way he'd kissed me back, hungry and eager. About the way he'd cupped my face and told me I was worth staying for. About the hurt in his eyes when I pulled away. My phone is heavy in my pocket, and I pull it out, staring at the screen. I have his number. He'd made sure I had it after treating Betty in case of emergencies. This isn't an emergency, but maybe it should be. Maybe walking away from something real is its own kind of crisis. I start typing a text, delete it, start again. I'm sorry for running. Delete. Can we talk? Delete. I'm an idiot who doesn't know what he's doing, but I can't stop thinking about you. Delete. In the end, I don't send anything. Just stand there in the stable, phone in hand, trying to figure out how to be brave enough to try. The horses shift in their stalls, familiar and comforting, and I lean against the wall, closing my eyes. I can still taste him. And I don't know how I'm supposed to forget that.
Chapter 4. Liam. The morning starts like any other Monday. Early alarm, strong coffee, the drive to the clinic through quiet streets, still waking up. I unlock the front door, flip on the lights, and try not to think about Saturday night. About Carter's mouth on mine, desperate and demanding. About the way he looked at me in that barn, like I was everything he wanted and everything he couldn't have. About how he ran. Again. I spent all day yesterday convincing myself it was over before it started. That Carter Branch was too complicated, too scared, too wrapped up in his ranch and his responsibilities to take a chance on something, on someone like me. That I should cut my losses, focus on building my practice. Maybe try the dating app Boone had jokingly suggested when I'd mentioned I was new in town. But the thing is, I don't want anyone else. I want the grumpy rancher with the dark eyes and careful hands, and the heart he keeps locked up so tight, I'm not sure he remembers how to open it. I'm setting up the exam room, organizing supplies, and trying to focus on the week ahead, when I hear the bell over the front door chime. It's barely 8, my first appointment isn't until 9, so I'm not expecting anyone. Be right there, I call out, finishing with the vaccine refrigerator. When I walk into the waiting room, I stop short. Carter Branch is standing just inside the door, hat in his hands, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. His hair is slightly damp, like he showered recently, and he's wearing a clean flannel over a dark Henley that does unfair things to his shoulders. He looks tired, with shadows under his eyes that suggest he slept about as well as I did, and nervous in a way I've never seen him before. Carter. His name comes out surprised, hopeful, and I try to rein it in. Is everything okay? Is Betty? Betty's fine. Everyone's fine. He twists his hat in his hands, a nervous tell that makes my chest ache. I came to talk to you. If that's okay. I gesture toward the consultation room, the closest thing I have to privacy. Yeah. Of course. Come on back. He follows me, his boots heavy on the linoleum floor, and I'm very aware of him behind me, the space between us charged with everything unsaid. I close the door once we're inside, and we stand there for a moment, not quite looking at each other. I'm sorry, he says finally, the words coming out rough. For Saturday night. For running. For, he stops, frustrated, struggling with whatever he's trying to say. For being a coward. You're not a coward, I say automatically, because whatever else Carter is, he's one of the bravest people I know. Raising his brothers, keeping a ranch afloat, fighting to hold on to his family's legacy, that takes courage. I am, though. When it comes to this. To you. He finally looks at me, and the vulnerability in his eyes steals my breath. I've spent all these years putting everyone else first. The ranch, my brothers, the animals. Making sure everyone else is okay, that we don't lose what Dad left us. And somewhere in there, I forgot how to want things for myself. He takes a step closer, and I hold perfectly still, afraid to move and break whatever moment this is. Then you showed up, he continues, voice dropping lower. And you were competent and funny, and way too good looking, and you didn't back down when I tried to push you away. And I wanted you. God, Liam, I wanted you so much it scared the hell out of me. Carter. Let me finish, he says, almost pleading. I need to say this before I lose my nerve. I nod, pressing my lips together to keep from interrupting. I've been telling myself I don't have time for this. For a relationship, for feeling this way about someone. That I can't afford distractions, can't afford to want something that might not work out. He laughs, bitter and self-deprecating. But Boone called me on my bullshit last night. Said I was making excuses because I was scared. Are you? I ask quietly. Scared? Terrified, he admits. Of messing this up. Of not being enough. Of you realizing I'm just a rancher who doesn't know how to do anything but work and worry, and, he stops, jaw working. Of you leaving. Everyone leaves eventually. The last part is said so quietly I almost miss it, but the pain underneath hits me like a physical blow. This is the heart of it, the fear that's been driving every wall, every defense, every time he's pushed me away. He's lost people. His mom, his dad, probably others. And he's convinced himself that caring means losing, that letting someone in just means more hurt when they go. I'm not leaving, I say, and I mean it with everything in me. Carter, I wasn't even sure I was going to stay in Montana. Thought maybe I'd give it a year, see if small-town life was really for me, keep my options open for going back to Denver or trying somewhere else. His expression shudders, and I realize how that sounds. But then I met you, I continue quickly, closing the distance between us until I'm right in front of him. And suddenly, I had a reason to stay. To put down roots, to build something here. You make me want to stay, Carter. You and this town, and the life I can see building here, I want all of it. I'm more sure of that than I've been of anything in years. He's staring at me like he's trying to decide if he can believe me, if it's safe to hope. I know you're scared, I say softly. And I know this is new for you. Hell, it's new for me too. I've never felt like this about anyone. Never wanted someone the way I want you. I reach up slowly, giving him time to pull away, and cup his jaw. His skin is warm, slightly rough with stubble, and he leans into the touch like he's starving for it. But we can make this work, if you're willing to try. If you're willing to let me in. I want to, he says, voice breaking slightly. God, Liam, I want to try. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to balance the ranch and my brothers and you. What if I'm terrible at it? What if I can't give you enough? Then we'll figure it out together. I stroke my thumb along his cheekbone, feeling the tension slowly ease out of him. We'll take it slow, go at whatever pace works for you. No pressure, no expectations beyond seeing where this goes. Can you do that? He closes his eyes, breathing out slowly, and when he opens them again, there's something different there. Still scared, but also determined. Hopeful. Yeah, he says. Yeah, I can do that. Good. I smile at him, and his answering smile is tentative but real. So we're doing this? Giving this a real shot. If you'll have me, he says, like there's any doubt. Like he's not the best thing that's happened to me since I moved to Montana. Instead of answering with words, I lean in and kiss him. Soft this time, gentle, nothing like the desperate claiming in the barn. This is a promise, a beginning, all the tenderness I've been holding back. He makes a soft sound against my mouth, his free hand coming up to grip my waist, and kisses me back with a sweetness that makes my chest ache. When we break apart, he's looking at me with wonder, like he can't quite believe this is happening. I should probably take you on a date, he says, slightly dazed. Do this right. Dinner or something. Or something, I agree, grinning. Though fair warning, everyone in town already thinks we're together after that dance on Saturday. He groans. Mrs. Kowalski? Definitely, Mrs. Kowalski. She stopped by yesterday to drop off a casserole and welcome me to the community. I use air quotes. Spent 20 minutes telling me what a good man you are and how you deserve someone who'll take care of you for a change. I'm going to kill her. She means well. And she's not wrong, you do deserve that. I thread our fingers together, marveling at how right it feels. Let me take care of you sometimes, okay? You don't have to do everything alone anymore. His throat works as he swallows, eyes suspiciously bright. Okay. Okay. I squeeze his hand. Now, I have patients coming in soon, but how about dinner tonight? I can cook, or we can order in, or... Come to the ranch, he says suddenly. For dinner. See the place when I'm not being an ass about it. He hesitates. If you want. I want, I say immediately. What time? 6. 7. Whenever you're done here. 7 works. I'll bring dessert. You don't have to. I want to, I interrupt gently. Let me do this. He nods, still holding my hand like he's afraid to let go. Should I? Do I just? He gestures vaguely between us, and I realize he's asking about how to be in a relationship, how to do this thing he's never really done before. However you want, I assure him. We can keep it private for now if you prefer, or we can tell people. We can take things at whatever speed you're comfortable with. There's no rulebook here, Carter. We make this up as we go. The relief on his face is palpable. Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. A timer goes off on my phone. 15 minutes until my first appointment. And we both look at it with matching expressions of disappointment. I should go, Carter says reluctantly. Let you get ready for work. Probably. But neither of us moves. He leans in instead, pressing a soft kiss to my forehead, then my cheek, then finally my lips. It's chaste and sweet, and somehow more intimate than the desperate kisses we've shared before. See you tonight, he murmurs against my mouth. Tonight, I confirm. He pulls away slowly, our hands separating last, and heads for the door. But he pauses with his hand on the knob, looking back at me with an expression that's almost shy. Thank you, he says, for not giving up on me. Never, I promise. I'm here for as long as you'll have me. His smile is worth every moment of doubt, every second of wondering if he'd ever let me in. Then he's gone, the bell chiming as he leaves, and I'm left standing in the consultation room with a grin I can't wipe off my face. He came back. He chose this, chose us, even though he's scared. That takes more courage than running ever would. I float through my morning appointments, barely present, mind constantly drifting back to Carter. To the way he'd admitted he wanted me, the vulnerability in his eyes when he'd talked about being scared, to the feel of his lips against mine, and the promise of tonight. By the time my last appointment leaves at 6:30, I'm itching to get on the road. I'd stopped by the bakery during lunch and picked up a pie, huckleberry, because the owner had assured me it was a Montana staple. And now I'm heading out of town toward the Lost Branch Ranch with my heart beating a little faster than normal. The sun is starting to set, painting everything in shades of gold and amber, and the ranch looks beautiful in the evening light. I park near the house this time instead of the barn, and before I can even get out, the front door opens and Boone comes bounding out. The vet's here, he yells over his shoulder, grinning at me. And he brought pie. Huckleberry, I confirm, holding up the bakery box. Carter's favorite, Boone says with far too much knowing in his voice. Come on in. Everyone's dying to interrogate. See you again. I follow him inside, and the house is warm and lived in a way that immediately feels like home. There are boots by the door, jackets hung on hooks, a wall of family photos that I want to examine more closely. The smell of cooking meat and vegetables drifts from what must be the kitchen, and I can hear voices and laughter. Carter appears in the hallway, wiping his hands on a dish towel, and his face transforms when he sees me. Not quite a smile, but close, something soft and relieved and pleased. You made it. Of course I made it. I hand him the pie. Brought dessert as promised. You didn't have to. He stops, shakes his head with a small smile. Thank you. This is great. Weston appears behind him, grinning. Liam. Welcome back. This time under much better circumstances than Saturday night. Weston, Carter warns. What? I'm just saying. Don't, Carter says firmly, but there's no real heat in it. I'm ushered into the kitchen, which is spacious and clearly the heart of the home. There's a large table that looks handmade, counters covered in food prep, and Wyatt is stirring something on the stove while Boone sets out plates. Hey Doc, Wyatt calls over his shoulder. Hope you're hungry. Carter stress cooked enough food for an army. I did not stress cook, Carter protests. You made 3 side dishes, Boone points out. You never make 3 side dishes. Maybe I just wanted dinner to be nice, Carter mutters, ears going red. I bite back a smile, charmed by his embarrassment. It smells amazing. Carter's ears go red. Can we not? Nope, Boone says cheerfully, setting plates on the table. We're absolutely doing this. You brought your boyfriend to dinner, so we get to give you shit about it. Them's the rules. Boyfriend. Carter looks at me, slightly panicked, like he's not sure if that's okay to say. If you want, I offer easily. Or we can just say we're dating. Or seeing each other. Whatever makes you comfortable. Boyfriend works, he says quietly, and the smile that spreads across his face is worth every bit of awkwardness. His brothers cheer, actually cheer, and Carter looks like he wants the floor to swallow him whole, but he's also fighting back another smile. Dinner is chaotic and wonderful. The food is simple but good. Steaks from their own cattle, roasted vegetables, fresh bread, and the conversation flows easily around the table. The brothers tease each other mercilessly, tell embarrassing stories about Carter, who takes it with surprising grace, and ask me about my work with genuine interest. I watch Carter throughout the meal, the way he interacts with his brothers, the obvious love and exasperation and fierce protectiveness. The way he keeps glancing at me like he's checking that I'm real, that I'm still here. The way his leg presses against mine under the table, a constant point of contact. So, Wyatt says over dessert, the huckleberry pie, which is indeed excellent, you planning on sticking around? Or is this just a Montana fling before you head back to civilization? Wyatt, Carter warns. What? It's a fair question. But Wyatt's watching me carefully, and I realize this is a test. They're protective of their brother, and they want to make sure I'm serious. I'm staying, I say firmly, looking at Carter as I say it. For as long as Carter will have me, and probably long after. I like it here. The work, the town, I smile at Carter. The company. Good answer, Boone says approvingly. Does this mean you'll stop charging us for farm calls? Weston asks hopefully. Weston, Carter growls. What? He's practically family now, right? Family discount. I laugh, feeling warmth spread through my chest at the casual way they've accepted me, included me. Tell you what, I'll give you the friends and family rate. But I'm still charging you for supplies and medications. A man's gotta make a living. Fair enough, Weston agrees. Better than what we were paying Doc Hendricks anyway. After dinner, the brothers scatter to handle evening chores, leaving Carter and me alone in the kitchen with the dishes. We work in comfortable silence, with him washing while I dry, and it feels domestic in a way that should probably scare me but doesn't. Your brothers are great, I say, putting away a plate. They really love you. They're a pain in my ass, Carter says, but there's affection in his voice. But yeah, I love them too. Even when they're giving me hell about my love life. Love life, I repeat, testing the words. That's what we have now. He glances at me, sudsy hands still in the sink. If that's okay with you. More than okay. I set down the dish towel and move closer, wrapping my arms around him from behind. He goes still for a moment, then relaxes back against me with a soft exhale. This is nice. Being here with you. Feeling like I belong. You do belong, he says quietly. Here. With me. If you want to. I want to, I murmur against his shoulder. So much. We finish the dishes together, and then Carter gives me a proper tour of the house, showing me the family photos on the walls, his father's study that's now his office, the living room where they gather on rare nights off. Every room tells a story of the life built here, the family that refuses to let go of their legacy. When we end up on the front porch, the sun has fully set, leaving the sky scattered with more stars than I've ever seen. The air is cool and crisp, carrying the scent of pine and earth and animals. It's beautiful here, I say, leaning against the porch railing. I can see why you fight so hard to keep it. Carter joins me, close enough that our shoulders touch. It's not just the land. It's everything it represents. My parents' dreams, my brother's futures. If I lose this place. He trails off, jaw tight. You won't, I say firmly. And even if you ever did, which you won't, you'd still have what matters. Your brothers. Yourself. Me, if you'll keep me around. He looks at me then, really looks at me, and there's something raw and vulnerable in his expression. You really mean that, don't you? You're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, I confirm. I meant what I said this morning, Carter. You're my reason for staying. For putting down roots. For building a life here. Even though I'm complicated and terrible at this, and probably going to mess up 100 times. Even though, I agree. We'll figure it out together. That's what this is, figuring it out as we go. He reaches for my hand, threading our fingers together, and we stand there in the darkness, holding hands on his front porch like it's the most natural thing in the world. Like we've been doing this for years, instead of just starting. I should probably head back soon, I say reluctantly. Early morning, tomorrow. Yeah. But he doesn't let go of my hand. Before you go, though, I was thinking maybe we could do something this weekend. If you're free. Actually, take you on that date I mentioned. I'm free, I say immediately. What did you have in mind? There's a place up in the mountains, about an hour from here. Real pretty this time of year, good hiking trails. Thought maybe we could pack a lunch, spend the day up there. Away from town gossip and my brothers and everything else. That sounds perfect. I squeeze his hand. It's a date. A date, he repeats, like he's still getting used to the concept. Then he smiles, and it transforms his whole face, making him look younger and lighter. Okay. Saturday, then. Saturday. I reluctantly pull away, heading toward my truck. But before I can get in, Carter catches my wrist, tugging me back. One more thing, he says, and then he's kissing me, slow and sweet and deliberate. His hand cups my jaw, thumb stroking my cheekbone, and I melt into him, savoring the taste and feel of him. When we break apart, we're both breathless. Stay with me, he whispers. Here. Tonight. In my bed. A jolt goes through me, hot and sharp. Are you sure? You really want me to spend the night here? More than anything. It's all I need to hear. He leads me back inside, then upstairs to his bedroom. Carter's bed is large. The sheets are clean and smell faintly of laundry soap. The room is tidy, almost stark. A mahogany dresser, a bedside table with a single lamp, a window looking out over the dark expanse of the ranch. It feels like him, solid and unadorned, with a quiet strength that doesn't need to announce itself. I sit on the edge of the mattress, my back to him as I unlace my boots. The floorboards creak softly under my weight, and the air is cool on my skin, raising goosebumps on my arms. You don't have to be nervous, he says, his voice a low murmur from where he stands by the door. He's watching me, his eyes dark and intense, and I feel a sudden shiver of anticipation. I'm not, I lie, turning to face him. He takes a step closer, then another, until he's standing between my knees. He shrugs out of his shirt as I reach for his belt buckle, my fingers brushing against the worn denim of his jeans. His breath hitches, but he doesn't stop me. I want this, he says, his voice rough with emotion. I want you. I look up at him, at the raw honesty in his eyes, and I know he means it. This isn't just about sex. It's about connection, about trust, about finally letting someone in. I lean in, my lips finding the warm skin of his stomach just above the waistband of his jeans. He makes a low sound, a quiet hum of pleasure, and I try to keep my fingers from trembling as I lower the zipper. He's already hard, and I press my mouth to the cotton of his briefs, breathing him in, tasting the salt of his skin. He groans, his hands coming up to tangle in my hair, and I smile against him. He pulls back just enough to strip off my shirt, his hands warm and sure as he maps the planes of my chest, the curve of my ribs. He's watching me with an intensity that's almost overwhelming, like he's trying to memorize every detail, every freckle, every scar. I feel seen in a way I never have before, and it's both terrifying and exhilarating. Need to taste you, I say, ready to beg for it if I have to. Need all of you. Now. My voice is barely a whisper, but it's enough. He nods, his movements clumsy as he shoves his jeans and underwear down his legs. I help him, my hands shaking a little as I help him step out of them. Then I'm on my knees, my hands on his thighs, my mouth watering at the sight of him. He's thick and heavy, and I wrap my hand around him, stroking him slowly, learning his shape, his weight. Liam, he breathes, his voice rough. He's hard in my hand, and I take him in my mouth, swirling my tongue around the tip, tasting the salty bitterness of his arousal. He's right there with me, his breath catching, his hips thrusting. He's talking to me, his voice a low murmur of encouragement and praise, and I try to take all of him. His hands tighten in my hair, his movements getting more frantic, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Not like this, he says, his voice strained. Want to be inside you. I pull back, a little dazed, and he pulls me to my feet, his mouth crashing down on mine. It's a messy, desperate kiss, all teeth and tongue and raw need. And I kiss him back just as desperately, my hands digging into his shoulders, my body arching against his. He's backing me toward the bed, and when the back of my knees hit the mattress, I go down, pulling him with me. We're a tangle of limbs, a frantic clash of mouths and hands and bodies, and it's not graceful, not by a long shot. It's messy and clumsy and real, and it's perfect. He's covering me, his body a warm, heavy weight, and I'm arching up against him, trying to get closer, trying to get more. He's kissing me again, his tongue in my mouth, his hands everywhere, and I'm lost in the sensation, in the sheer, unadulterated pleasure of it all. When he finally pulls back, I'm gasping for air, my body humming with a need so sharp it's almost painful. He's watching me, his eyes dark and intense, and he looks almost feral. "Lube," he says, and he's up and across the room in a flash, fumbling with the drawer. He's back in a second, his hands shaking as he slicks his fingers, and then he's kissing me again, his mouth soft and gentle this time, a stark contrast to the desperate energy between us. I pull my legs up, a silent invitation, and he takes it, his fingers finding my entrance, circling, teasing. He's patient, almost maddeningly so, and I'm bucking my hips, desperate to feel him inside me. "Carter," I moan, my voice a ragged plea. "Please." "Shush. I've got you." He slides one finger inside me, and I groan, my body arching off the bed. It's been a while, and the stretch is a dull ache, but it's a good ache, a welcome ache, and I want more. "Another," I say, and he obliges, his fingers working in tandem, stretching me, preparing me. It's slow and deliberate, and when he finally adds a third finger, I'm so close to the edge I can taste it. "Now," I say, my voice a ragged gasp. "Carter, now." He pulls his fingers out, and I whine at the loss, but he's already positioning himself, his cock pressing against my entrance. He's looking at me, his eyes dark and intense, and he's waiting. "Are you sure?" he asks, his voice a low murmur. "Are you really sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything," I say, and I mean it. I want this. I want him. All of him. He pushes inside me, and it's a slow, steady burn, a delicious stretch that has me seeing stars. He's big, a lot bigger than even his 3 fingers combined, and it takes a moment for my body to adjust. But when he's fully seated, when he's all the way in, it's a feeling of fullness, of completeness, of finally being right where I'm supposed to be with the man I've somehow fallen in love with. "I love you," I gasp as he starts to rock against me. "Love you so, so much." I have no idea where the words come from. They just spill out of me, raw and true and honest. I don't take them back. I won't. Carter stills, his body tense above me. I can see the war in his eyes, the fear warring with hope. "Say it again," he whispers, his voice cracking. "I love you." I bring my hands up to cup his face this time. "I love you, Carter." His face crumples, and he collapses on top of me, burying his face in my neck. "I love you too," he whispers, his voice choked with emotion. "God, Liam, I love you too." He starts to move again, his hips finding a rhythm that's slow and deep, and it's perfect. It's everything. He's whispering my name, his breath hot against my neck, and I'm holding on to him, my fingers digging into his back, my body arching to meet his every thrust. The build is slow, a steady heat that's been simmering since the moment we met. It's in the way he moves, the way he touches me, the way he looks at me like I'm the only person in the world. It's in the way his breath hitches, the way his body tenses, the way he says my name like a prayer. When I finally come, it's with a shudder, a cry, a rush of pleasure that's so intense it's almost painful. I cling to him, my body shaking with the force of it, and he follows me over the edge with a hoarse shout, his body going rigid above mine before he collapses, a warm, heavy weight that's both comforting and grounding. We lie there for a long time, our bodies tangled together, our hearts beating in time. The room is quiet, the only sound the soft rustle of sheets and the steady rhythm of our breathing. "Stay with me," he says, his voice a low murmur against my skin. "Stay with me forever." Forever, I echo. And I know with a certainty that settles deep in my bones that this is it. This is my beginning. This is my man. My life. My home.